Hey there, Unsolved Mysteries fans, Wayward Legacy, back at you with another video. So I was, kind of going on Facebook. I got the Leafs game in like, I don't know, 30 minutes or 40 minutes or so, something like that. But, I was on Facebook, just kind of killing time till the game. And I came across an article about Amelia Earhart. So you could basically say this is kind of like a revisited, kind of episode. But it's not really. It's more of an update, but I guess you kind of call it a revisited. I'm not going to go through the case again or anything like that, or, talk about what anything I may have missed or anything like that. But because like I said, in the original video, I don't know the case that well. I know little bits and pieces of it, through learning it in history class and stuff like that, but other than that, I've never really researched it thoroughly or anything like that. I just know bits and pieces. But apparently, they found a skeleton or something like that, and they think that it could solve the mystery of Amelia Earhart, of her disappearance and what happened maybe. So this is an article from FoxNews.com. I'm not going to go through every single bit of it because a lot of it's just stuff talking about her and the case, which as I basically talked about that in my video. If you haven't seen it, go to my Unsolved Mysteries playlist. It'll be in there somewhere. I did it about a month or a few weeks back. It'll be in there somewhere. So this is just a quick update on it. So here we go. Last month, the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, TIGHAR, I guess is what it's called, TIGHAR. Proposed the theory that she landed her plane safely on a remote island and died as a castaway. Now scientists say a new discovery shows a striking similarity between the pilot and the partial skeleton of a castaway found on an island in the country of Kiribati, I think it is, in 1940. A historical photo provided the vital clue. In May of 1932, Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean, taking off in Canada and landing in Ireland. 3 years later, she flew from Hawaii to California, winning a $10,000 prize. She was America's darling, famous for being a darling but modest pilot. So it's right now it's pretty much just talking more about the case, really. In August, TIGHAR's Rick Gillespie, I think, said Earhart made more than 100 radio transmissions calling for help between July 2nd and July 6th of 1937, ruling out any possibility of a crash landing. Her calls were picked up as far away as Texas, Florida, and even Melbourne. She's out there calling for help, Mr. Gillespie said, adding that she must have landed safely because the radio wouldn't have worked without the engine running. The bones were uncovered on the island of Nikamoro, also known as Gardner Island, which is about 400 miles south of Howland Island. They were analyzed in 1940, but a doctor said that they were male, ruling out the possibility that they belonged to Earhart. However, TIGHAR discovered the files in 1998. Scientists said modern techniques provided the bones were consistent with a female of Earhart's height and ethnic origin. Most recently, anthropologist Richard Jantz was preparing an updated evaluation when he discovered a strange detail. The skeleton's forearms were considerably larger than average. However, without knowing the dimensions of Earhart's body, Dr. Jantz had no way of comparing if her forearms were similarly larger than normal. TIGHAR turned to forensic imaging specialist Jeff Glickman for help. Using a historical photo where both of Earhart's bare arms were visible, he calculated the ratio between the bones in her lower and upper arm. Because the tissue is over the skeleton in living people, the location of each bone end must be eliminated, he wrote in a report published last week. Her clothing also added a layer of difficulty. However, he used the point of her shoulder, the crease of her elbow, and the indent of her wrist as landmarks. Given the evidence and my experience in the field of photogrammetry and photo interpretation, I estimate the radius to humerus ratio of Amelia Earhart is 0.76, he wrote. In other words, the difference between her lower and upper arm was virtually identical to the partial skeleton unearthed in the South Pacific. The discovery doesn't conclusively prove that the castaway was Amelia Earhart, but it's certainly another step in that direction. So, this is interesting for sure. People have been trying to, solve this case for years or decades, and there's like the Danny Castellero case, like Dave Box, even though it's not a murder, there's many different theories and conspiracy theories and stuff like that on it as to what may have happened to her. Was she murdered? Did she crash? Did she land safely? People have been trying to figure it out for years, and there hasn't been enough evidence or findings to really prove if what happened to her, if she survived, if she didn't, if she became a castaway. We don't really know that, but maybe we'll find out someday. Maybe this is kind of a step in the right direction, and we can actually finally find out what happened to her, and this mystery can finally be solved after decades and decades of trying to figure out what happened. Maybe it'll be solved. So it's another interesting case, and it's cool that I saw this update, and I thought it was a good idea to talk about it. So if you like this video, give a like, subscribe, comment in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this new discovery, this update, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say for this video right now, and I'll see you in the next one. Wayward out.